do well
Yes.
at this, but I've never been on a Tesla earning call, so I have no idea how to play this. Completely blind. I don't even know if I will yet. But I'm wondering what your guys' opinion on any of these are. Just kind of like in the quick eight
Yeah.
minutes we
Yeah.
have.
The frequentist approach that we kind of talked about before of looking backwards would force me to want to start with transcripts of the past earnings calls, feed them to GPT, and just ask for a raw word count on each of these. But this is also a uniquely Bayesian market in the sense that every earnings call is different. It's reacting to current events, and so that's not an amazing. It's a starting place, but it's not going to give you a ton of stuff. The Tesla diner, for instance, is relatively new. So if we're looking too far backwards, there's never going to be a mention of a Tesla diner in historical transcripts.
Yeah, I've not actually live traded mention markets myself, but I think the first thing that stands out to me is a lot of these, I'm seeing some there's some areas that don't have enough liquidity, so we're just seeing 50-50 or 60% splits. I'd be setting maybe limit orders on some of these.
Right.
I feel as in my head, I don't know if this is actually how it behaves, but as the earnings call progresses, you'd expect that every single one of these words that haven't been mentioned would be declining. And you'd want to probably catch some of that at some point in time. Maybe if you could have it expire halfway through, 3/4 through the earnings call itself. That might be something that you could do. I actually don't know if you can set these to expire within that granular of a time frame.
I think you can. I think you can. This is
expiration.
A good way to kind of play the ball. The where you trip up, I think, in that strat is sometimes the topic will turn to something relevant to this, and it'll suddenly spike, and it may or may not hit. But an analyst might ask a question about the diner, for instance, and then all of a sudden, the diner's going up. Whether or not the Tesla representative, because I think the rules for this is that it has to be a representative of the company, whether or not they reiterate the word diner changes. But if we control that out, you're right, Matt. There's a time decay to every single one of these, right?
Or there should be, yeah. And if there isn't, then there's probably something to do there.
Yeah, my just going purely off of vibes, my read is diner feels high, dude. This is the earnings call where they are this is the earnings call, not the quarterly meeting or whatever. But November 6th, I think, is the quarterly meeting where shareholders are voting on Elon's comp and a ton of other changes to their bylaws and stuff. And I guess I just think with everything going on and they're putting out new vehicles and stuff, the diner is a footnote at best. To be at 65% feels really high.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you here. I think it's also I haven't done any research. I'd like to know the representative that's giving the call. I'd like to, because there's a couple things in here that are clearly words. For instance, what's this one? Bigger and longer. I don't know what
what is that. Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's no. A lot of people are saying no. I would probably agree with that. But yeah, I think I agree with you here. Diner is a footnote. I don't see that being and tariff also. A lot of people are saying tariff.
Yeah, that's really high.
Yeah, it might be a little high here as well. But one of the interesting things I noticed about mention markets is that, and I don't know where Polymarket is on this particular I think they just started the earnings call mention markets. Am I wrong on that, or am I right? Or is this
they're
new?
They're pretty new. They're pretty new. I haven't seen them except maybe in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. What I noticed, especially with the South Park mention market, I think that was one of the first times they did the South Park mention market. It's a lot of times you're going to get tons of no's on these really new markets because of the lack of context behind them. But I could be wrong. That's just we'll see what happens. But yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's weird because there's a whole exercise of selecting what the word markets will be that the editorial crew clearly does. I think they get community input to do this. But it almost builds in a certain level of bias of these are the phrases that have been selected. I think people are just prone to be biased toward. Now you're imagining, will that be word be used or not, as opposed to insert the blank any word,